Hello, Wethersfield and Intercity. There's also Intercity from Wethersfield has the state judicial branch offices on off houses next to it, involved with all kinds of natures of crime acts and methods and natures of roles against each area, each person, individual, group, together and progressively. This is how interbranch family members are using their kids through time for crime roles they have with overt criminal enterprises and with a whole bunch of nations shared there and here sick. This is maintained through criminal foreign influences not sourced by one modern nation, effectively having kept and keeping modern nations blaming other things, others, and self for the real causes of negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures. They have interbranch, they have drug clicks interbranch, identity theft, crime acts, clicks through time, intercampuses, crime acts, clicks on and off campuses. Now they have identity theft, crime acts with fake news too. So they have fake YouTube pages, fake Facebook pages pretending to be me and pretending to be others, including Saudis they use for crime acts with, against their knowledge. They did, in other words, our investigators of the Trade Center attack had crime acts roles with it through other nations leading up to the Trade Center attack context, even inside the Ninth Circuit Court, right into the Trade Center attack context. From inside the court, post-dated documents have been affected from inside the court to appear late before the panel of judges, right before the Trade Center attack. That was proven after the attack. That led up to a 2006 Connecticut case now with a bunch of federal criminal defendants and other federal criminals associated with them criminally with people in my area, with their extended family members involved with criminal uses of the untimely death context and of databases with that and of my name with that and criminal with that as crime roles with fake news, with spreading illusions, influencing people to roles with that, to pretend emotions and passions that they can't pretend on paper because that would show how they were influenced to it. In other words, we have from off campuses maintained each age of campus was used criminally through time. And for identity thefts, there are two Olsen brothers I don't know. I just know of barely. One time they tried. There are proofs that they filmed me and the location of them near Trinity College when I was in high school, and that was so. In other words, because I knew I might need to say that now, because they're involved with the people with identity thefts, with the crime acts, with the inter campuses and interstates, as New York, Wethersfield, intercity, like on off CCSU through time, criminally involved. People associated with a Cuddy family. I never had a conversation with any of the Cuddy brothers. The recorded and confessed involved with others, like the Chachu family. So these are people that were used as victims, but as victim predators per their roles with police forms and as houses next to the state judicial branch offices that were facilitated the crimes with people on and off the state judicial branch offices in Wethersfield also. That's right on Wethersfield Hartford line. I think one street is Wethersfield, one's Hartford, the way they have it. In other words, they have criminal uses of the identity of the ground here in Wethersfield and Hartford originally, and still. That's why George Washington left overt slavery in the North. The Civil War didn't end slavery, didn't end the physical trap that was forced the pathology of zoning laws, of uses of recorded semi-unsafe, purposefully. We have intercities fire departments, and we have their entrenchments in roles with Russians, with psychology, with conspiracy theories they recorded using criminally, preventing people from reporting crime acts and pretending they're exploiting our nature of volume by pretending overall convictions against people, preventing the scientific process per their roles with sequence shifts, stealing the identities of people. WFSB is recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with medical crime acts with kids, and with overt criminal enterprises, and with judges, and with all the natures of the courts, the identities of positions with the court, through time criminally involved with this, retired and standing. Whole bunch of people associated with two Mendes police, criminally involved through time, on off Fox Connecticut News, on off WFSB, on off WTNH. In other words, on off campuses criminally involved with them. A Dellaferrah family is also recorded and confessed involved with WTNH, WFSB, and Fox CT, having been facilitated to crime acts roles through their roles with a database. They use them playing softball together to facilitate them to crime acts roles and uses of the identity of the ground and of the identity of value that each age of fact treatment nature is. We'll examine these same predators with the children through time are predators with elderly homes, making those natures from when they were kids used criminally as victims, as victim predators. Now they're predators, pretending living they're using their jobs criminally, they're allowing their jobs having been to be used criminally. To pretend to be against that, they pretend to be about value because they have a job. They're involved with extortion with this way. They're maintaining only criminal insidiousness natures or positive to not have their identity stolen. You know, they have it stolen anyway, but they don't know, in other words, to benefit from everyone else have their identity stolen. We have each of our experts maintained effectively, originally still criminally foreign influence and with delusions raw. Their sensibilities affected from off campuses in stayed ways on off campuses, ill fact treatment nature, offensive evidence reception, crime trick methods, and then exploitations of that are juxtaposed with it as roles with a whole bunch of other natures of crime filtered. Roles with the valuing of other people's names, where and how the perception. I don't know the name of that actor. He was in a car driving around, and they had him show him recently playing pool. And he's like, oh, and he's like, and they show you hear the girls watching him. And they're like, oh, what's that? That's recorded. For example, there are proofs that even these average, because the ad companies associated with the news are and have been used timed criminal uses for what's using the child defenders to maintain the branches needed to hide their live progressions by hurting kids. They're motivated. These are the woman judges crime acts roles, and they're actually recorded natures. Also, the women with the courts, like victims advocates, women with the courts, recorded criminally foreign criminally used through time. Many associated with this former Mayor Golden, with the new standing mayor, involved criminally with people associated with the transition from ACA to RICO, criminally involved with the kids through time, pretended to be against criminal enterprises while they were exploiting them through time. There's further people associated with and as an O'Brien family, with intercities, interbranch, further Sandy Hook, Wethersfield schools, child defenders, criminal uses of databases, other natures of gun crime roles that are juxtaposed with whatever's individually making these people shoot. But these crime methods are inseparable from it. It's part of the problem. And it's criminal uses of the statistics gathering and evidence reception, treatment, conviction nature. In other words, experts on evidence reception, experts on psychology have recorded delusions raw and valued that way because everyone's a victim predator of ill education. I'm not a doctor, not a police form criminal. I'm going to show you recorded how these doctors have physical delusions. how they fake conversations with people and switch names and forge names into branch and private like that. How their roles with from off campuses sustain crime acts against students. Criminal uses the standing sensibility natures as criminal seriousness nature tools with database illusion stacking. Crime methods to that. Tied to how they have a whole bunch of girls named Alicia, women named Alicia, since they were girls involved with as victim predators, recorded and confessed interstates. Per men and women recorded and confessed abused by the on-off CCSU private and military and foreign and domestic shared policing of CCSU, criminally involved. A whole bunch of natures of crimes, a whole bunch of crime acts roles in cases leading up to them. There are criminal uses of pretending to be against things, like holding things to overall conviction nature. They're not teaching people how to use finite active body of value and progressive value simultaneously. And worse, they're obfuscating that. They're obfuscating the greater means by that. Yalla. Intersciences, we have the sciences maintained but through ill convictions of scientific, valuing intersciences pseudo positive, like criminal insidious natures are positive. Wrongdoers, like our criminal insidious natures. Wrongdoing on a mass scale is that which was really evolved with Jim Crow laws, with the Civil War. That's a physical front. Until you address how slavery is still in northern and all forms of it in the North, then you haven't addressed slavery. Those are fake breaching roles, only capable of being that. Breaching screens, breaching tools, and breaching weapons as fact treatment nature, where it has and how we're valued. Not just because value transfer is forced by nature itself, not just because of the value of that, but by the value of that to what? And that's the course of and as actual science, which actual science reveals. It also reveals standing lie progression cover up natures, lie progressions from each standing database relationship. Pseudo positive natures. They need to pretend to be about integrity some way, so they have the environment. This is nature's course. They are consciously and half consciously obfuscated, and worse. Now follow mandated law and respond for the rest of the child offenders and crime acts with the kids, Wethersfield schools, on off them. Recorded, confessed, and demonstrated they stole me to fake words, fake sequences, fake relationships to others, fake locations, and they did so with kids here. The court's criminally involved. They forced me to walk by people because those are people, they're pretending things in the background with that. Criminally. They were already involved with sex crime acts associated with that court before they arrested me. They didn't let me tell on that. That's when they were still forcing the principal sex offenders' roles with these worse ones, child do it. I'm saying sex offender, I don't know what they call him for, something like that with kids. Sex offenders with the crime acts, in other words, roles with these other ones worse than him, sex crime acts, rape threats, criminal uses of little girls through time with little fake men that they allow to act for them. And they force the other kids to not, they're going to lie to them too, because they're speaking through others. They're speaking through little fakes. Joe DeMoro. Now sick, Mike Kerr. These two are Heather Hansen with them at the same time. They pretend they don't like it and stuff like that. I barely know them. These are people that were used also with this Rob schedule and people with mobile gas stations in Wethersfield with the military, criminally foreign influenced originally and still. They have the value of what is a cop. They have a value of what is a judge. They have value of what is military. Sacrificed. So of course they need to pretend they care for it because they're exploiting it. Before that, more that's what's keeping it sacrificed. They're not freeing speech. They're crime method roles, breaching tool roles, breaching screen roles against Marbury versus Madison's value. They're sick fakes with my name in the background, pretending things are recorded, using the police chief and his daughter for sick weapons. With this Mayano family also recorded, confessed with the rest of them. With this Salisbury, a Brian Silver, a whole bunch of other people involved with men and women at the Britain Superior Court involved with crimes with child sex offenders, crimes with drugs, crimes with databases, identity thefts, crimes with mail crime acts roles, identity theft crime acts roles, sequence shift crime acts roles, and as crime acts recorded with the ones tied to the sequence shift from inside the Ninth Circuit affected. As crime acts roles and natures associated with the family of and the persons of federal criminal co-defendants or former director of the FBI and other FBI's other proven federal criminals associated with them. You know, that's why they keep the drugs nonstop, not because of money, not because they don't have the laws hard enough, because they need to keep the real cause of negative value nature, progressions, acts, and natures blamed on other things other than self when they're it. When uses of them are even worse are it, but it's even more insidious. Now we need to be able to counter the physical delusions and the dishonest nature that's using facts, truths that are they're having lies attached to it, pretending they don't realize the exceptions of things. Criminal uses of lawyers, asking them questions on laws, for example, questions on law to pretend they're taking legal advice that's legitimate, knowing in the back of their mind they're faking news and their identity theft crime acts, specifically so people can't report crime acts on kids. This is extortion. These are extortion methods using colleges, campuses, using each nature of science, valuing sick fakes, victim predators, and nothing personal against. I don't know if he's gay, but in other words, there are gay people associated with him and with Mendez brought police. There are two Mendez brothers, and there's a guy who's the name Mendez. And he's involved with gay people that are involved further with the child sex offenders. Has nothing to do with the gay, but they're using that as a crime weapon to pretend people have hate when they don't even know those people. Oh, because he had hateful language. That's involved with sequence shifts. Mind their business and deal with sequence true. Let's go. Let's get a response too, because these are the policing of the school, the campuses from off campuses. We'll examine how the location of former director of the FBI's lawyer was used criminally through time with the people involved with the fake news crime acts, like John Mayana, with criminal roles, with databases, with men and women, with the courts, various natures of courts, and their family members, and fire departments criminally involved, and overt criminal enterprises, and other nations' roles with private. This John Mayana was also recorded and confessed involved with crimes with this Leahy family. I do know the John Mayana. I never had a conversation with Leahy in my life. Him as a brother. I explained online. They forced me to a triage place for observation. They attached me to fake words. They had another person scream. Also tied crime acts roles with the fake news crime acts clicks like John Mayana tied to them. Christine Bedard, Christine Tardet. He went to the prom with her. This John Mayana is a disgusting slob. This is a person who begged me to be in his presence. Also, Kyle Gill begged me to not make him look stupid in front of girls. That was recorded and confessed and demonstrated involved with his roles with courts preventing people from telling on how they used him as a kid. They child abused him as a kid as police forms. And with the ones from my town involved with the child offenders then and now, proven child offenders. They have further crimes with the mother and brothers of one, and that brother himself, further involved criminally with the rest of the child offenders, and with this Dillon family with the houses in my area. See, now they have obligations to follow mandated law, but they didn't do it. So now they need to pretend, you know, don't approach me now. I have nothing to say. I need to respond to those crime acts. Don't have people walking up and down the street and make opinions don't know me, attaching lies to truth. Use the sensibilities of victim predator, gay couples in the area and stuff like that, and through time. They did this with they do this with deployments at there was a deployment, I don't know if he's gay, looked gay. Deployment, one of the businesses used as victim predators. It's because they have everyone speaking through others, and the police forms and the courts are lying about people. They're pretending things recorded into databases, and that's recorded. So mandated laws to respond to that. See, they're forging names and switching names criminally. That's recorded too. We're confessed. Forging names, switching names as means to prevent counters. They're preventing. They're recorded criminally, pretending they have rights to do this by quoting laws criminally. Criminally leaving out how they already stacked lies in cases leading up to that. They already have crime rolls with databases leading up to that. They have crime acts rolls with all the problems that were coming into the courts. One-way reports. There are two Mendes police also recorded and confessed by a whole bunch of people tied to them. I never had a conversation with the Mendes brothers in my life. They pretended. Other. Recorded. I noted the exceptions before. They pretended other was recorded by police because they needed to pretend other from the past. They're also recorded with the police chief and his daughter and foreign and domestic family involved further criminally with houses in my area, even though I haven't seen them. In other words, they were facilitated to federal crime acts, verbal, male crime rolls, crime acts and cases leading up to cases, criminal uses of depositions, fake sides of fact treatment nature. These are fake sides of these are crime methods to reach age of kids. A Dellaferrah family is also recorded and confessed involved with the immediate and extended relatives associated with these two Mendes police criminally involved with this claw. I never saw them in one time. He walked once or twice. He walked by him in school and repeated calling him Mr. Perfect, which is also because these are people involved with all kinds of fact treatment nature rackets and regarding exploitations of positive further crimes with probate courts and with drugs with overt gangs and with the courts and with the police forms and with the elderly homes and the child offenders associated with crimes with them facilitated to it. I'm not saying they understand it. That's how they have my name in their heads. They were facilitated to know my name. I never sought them out. Let's go. Give me the names of the judges involved with the rest of the threats on the kids, and hurry up and respond to it, because these are just a lot of the problems are recorded tied to how they force them sustained, and while they're pretending they need to investigate things, when they have investigators criminally involved. There's a Jim Socia, Amy Socia, and Jen Socia. I barely know. They walk by me. They're involved with a whole bunch of men and women involved with child offenders, military corruption, foreign and domestic, private corruption, criminal uses of databases, drug crime rolls, foreign and domestic involved with medical campuses criminally too. involved with the untimely deaths spots used criminally. Same ones that brought up the child sex offenders and their connections. And so that's how I saw men and women that made me understand how they were, what they were, their roles with the past. This affects everyone speaking through others as reactions that are being exploited, where they're maintaining originally propagated and self-valued and breaching method maintained self-valued, criminally foreign influenced human fact treatment nature. Criminally foreign influenced value treatment natures of each area. We're going to examine Wethersfield Pizza is with Maria Vizino, Steven Stacco, a whole bunch of people with her former boyfriends, and a Spada family also recorded confessed involved crimes with a whole bunch of their boyfriends. With in other words, victims, but everybody's victim predator. Don't associate. In other words, these are people involved further with a Chris White. Officer Chris White recently tied to a shooting in the north end of Hartford, reportedly of someone who they shot and killed, who had a knife. These are also people involved with criminal investigations of such, and with the shooting in New Britain, which has a whole bunch of police forms, private and foreign, involved criminally with them, with judges, crime acts, rules and cases, criminal uses of depositions, fake signs of correlation nature, a whole bunch of confessions and demonstrations of recorded uses of them, roles with them. They want those people to debate me, but with them coaching it. Those people recorded, confessed, and demonstrated that. So we need to get the judges to pick one name in sequence, you little cowards. That's obligated. Our needs to have you purged. Too long we've urged. We need to have Connecticut criminal foreign influences, criminal uses of the military, also the Coast Guard. See, there's a Joshua Julian also criminally involved here with the houses in my area. I never met him, never saw him in my area. He's involved with identity thefts with the extended family members of the Collo family, involved with the new and past neighbors, involved criminally with his Dillon family, and with his Kerr family, and with his DeMorrow family, and with the people with the crime acts of each of the campuses I went to, each age of it. And sequence shifts with that.